So Richard, I was told there's a few hundred people who registered. So we're gonna see how many people actually turn up. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Actually, we don't have to be.
Yeah, we can start now.
Okay. Good morning or evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to this info session for MMD, which is stand for Masters in Science in Marketing Management Digital. So I'm Prof. Chung. I'm actually the academic director for the program. That's why I'm moderating today's session. So a bit about myself. I'm a marketing professor in ESSEC. So actually the background scene is actually a picture of taken in Paris campus. So but I'm based fully in Singapore. So I've been running this program since the program started in 2017. And happy to be here to share about this program, which I'm very proud of with you. So with me, I have three students. Alumni and students. So I'll ask them to share more about themselves individually later. So we have Jin-Lin, who is actually working in Sanofi as a business intelligence analyst. We have Filippo, which actually is working as a digital tools and automation consultant at 9X, and Yuqiao, which is a performance marketing intern in Shopee. The reason that Yuqiao is an intern because she's still in her, she haven't graduated yet. She's in the internship stage, for example. All right, so let's go through by the graduation year. We'll start off with Jin-Lin and then Filippo and Yuqiao. And I meant this session to be more conversational, so feel free to the three of you feel free to chime in. But let's start off with an introduction. I think the audience will be very keen to know more about you, so feel free to share about what you do and about yourself. Yeah.
So perhaps I'll start because I'm from one of the first cohorts of this program. So hello, everyone. Nice to be joining this session today to share my experience on my years of study at within the MMD program. So I actually joined in 2018. I was the second cohort. We were a very small cohort back then, but now the program has expanded to include something like 60-something students. Right, so I actually joined this program right out of university. So I was studying in Taiwan at the time, and I wanted to, I was studying international business at the time, and I wanted to specialize in marketing and especially digital marketing, which is why I joined this program. So the actual studies were 1 year, and then as part of the program, we have to write a thesis and also do an internship. So my internship, which I found through the career fair while I was attending this program, was at LVMH Perfumes and Cosmetics here in Singapore. And so I was working there for half a year. Then straight after, I found a job at Sanofi. So it's a French pharmaceutical company, but I'm working within the consumer healthcare business unit. So I started off doing digital marketing as actually as part of their graduate program. And then now, so after a year and a half of doing that program, I actually switched on over to business intelligence. So it's more data oriented, but marketing is actually quite related to data. So I had the background from previous experiences, and now I do that. And I've been doing this role for the past year.
Thank you. Filippo, how about yourself?
Hi, everyone, and thanks, Prof. Tak, again for hosting this. I'm Filippo. I was part of the 2020 cohort in Singapore. After my master, I found a job through the career service from ESSEC at a Singaporean startup. They were a marketplace, a really fast-growing SaaS company. I stayed there for 6 months to complete my internship. And then I decided to get back home, to move back to Europe. I'm Italian, but now I'm in Germany. And now what I do is technology consulting. So we mostly work with seed stage and early stages companies. And what we like to say is that we go from 0 to 1. So we work with companies that have recently raised capital, and we help them structure their operations and growth.
Okay, that's it. What about Yuqiao?
Hello everyone. I'm Yuqiao, and I'm currently interning in Shopee. And I think most of our classmates are more or less just doing the internship or about to finishing the internship. Then what I did in Shopee is more about performance marketing. So we run the online ads, and then we contact with the KOLs to drive the orders. Then it's pretty much about what I did in Shopee. It's very nurturing, and then it's a very meaningful journey as well. And then our team is from the very lean team to start over, like now it's like the team of 8 people already. So it's kind of like starting from scratch to have more hands-on experiences for me. And by the way, I have been in Singapore for 9 years, from the JCs to National University of Singapore for 4 years for BBA, and then specialize in finance. And then also, like Jin-Lin, I wanted to specialize more in the marketing. So I decided to join the Master of Marketing. Yeah, and then focusing on the digital marketing as well.
Thank you. Actually, I'm quite happy to have the three of you today because, in a past webinar, we keep having students who work in the luxury industry, so much so that when a student comes in, they ask me, Prof, is it okay if I don't work in the luxury industry? So it's great to have the three of you, which none of you has worked in luxury industry. So let me just talk a bit about the program in case the audience here is new to what MMD is. So basically, it's a program, Master in Science and Marketing. So it's started in 2017. So it's a fairly new program. And we just got ranked last year, and the ranking then was 4th in the world by QS ranking. So we're quite well ranked, thanks to the great performance of the students, the faculty, and the industry support, for example. The ranking result for this year will be out, so I got a good feeling we will do pretty well this year also. So the program is actually fully taught in English, although we're a French university, and the program is fully in Singapore. And it's basically, it will involve about 9 months of coursework, and then there'll be a 4 to 6 months of internship. And on top of that, it's actually quite a experiential learning kind of program, in the sense that we believe in getting students to implement what they learn in class. So things such as a digital marketing challenge, which is actually, if you think about it, it's pretty much almost a business case kind of a, I wouldn't say competition, event where the industry partners kind of share with us their problems in digital marketing, luxury marketing, for example, and then students get to work with it with them. And I'll get the three guests today to talk more about it. So digital marketing challenge is actually where students implement what they learn and then solve real problems with companies. We actually have something called a design thinking boot camp, which is where students basically dedicate 1 week to design thinking, meaning developing something from scratch, show the prototype to somebody, and then propose a prototype. So it's about understanding what your consumer wants, and then developing something to suit their needs. When we started this program in 2017, we were thinking about what should be the focus of this program. Having a digital marketing focus is a no-brainer because we are all moving into a digital marketing digital marketing world, and all consumers are now pretty much linked to the digital device. And we also choose to have another focus, which is in luxury marketing, simply because that's very in line with the forte of this ESSEC Business School, which is well known for luxury marketing. So right now we are, we're positioning to be a program that focuses both in digital and luxury marketing. So come near future, we'll look more into sustainability marketing, for example. I think that's something that will be of interest to the industry interest to the student, for example. So that's a very brief introduction of student of the program. I'll actually handle the question at the end of the session, if you don't mind, because I mean that will make it the flow better. But I did see your question, Elena. I'll come back to you at the end. So let's turn my attention to the three guests today. I don't mean to talk much today. I want to be more the moderator. So one thing I need to know is that what brings you to doing this program, and especially what brings you doing this in Singapore, because that's something I've always in my mind, how to bring good students like the three of you into the program. So maybe feel share. So what brings you to this program? Anyone?
Yeah, I could share my reason first. So I actually knew of the school before I decided I wanted to study at the school before I decided on coming to Singapore. So actually ESSEC is a really good school that's quite well known in France and in Europe in general. So I did an exchange in France back when I was a university student, and I decided that I wanted to go to a French business school. So I was looking around the rankings and looking at the schools. I found ESSEC and some other ones when I was comparing. So ESSEC, then I saw that there was a digital marketing program, which really interested me. And as mentioned by Prof Tech, we have one stream in French, which is based in our Cergy campus in France. And then I also saw, which I didn't know before, is this new program based in Singapore. So I actually compared the two, and honestly, Asia is a very new and exciting. I mean, it's an exciting market to be in. Lots of markets within Asia are really up and coming. So I thought, why not come to Singapore and try to learn more about the market, gain more experience. And so that was sort of the reason why I chose Singapore over Cergy. And actually, that was 4 years ago, and came here first time in Singapore. I had never lived here, visited before coming to the program, but it's turned out well. 4 years later, I'm still here. So.
Welcome to Singapore. Okay. What about Filippo? What brings you to this program and doing it in Singapore?
For me, I actually didn't know ESSEC when I was looking for my master's degree. At the time I was in Madrid, and I was really interested in marketing. So I was also looking at the ranking and looking at the offering of the different programs. But I was also already very interested in Asia, because I thought that would give me an edge, right? You have so many European students, you have many good European universities, ESSEC included. But what I believe, and I still believe, is that having that international experience very abroad, it's something that really stands out in your resume. So that was one big reason. And the second one was that I didn't have too much work experience when I joined the company. Of course, I had done some internships, but I was fresh out of my bachelor degree. So looking at ESSEC offering, you saw things like the digital marketing challenge, right? The design thinking. Those are opportunities for you to really get a real life experience with employees of many big companies, and you get a feedback from the marketing, from the real market, from the work. And that was really good for me. That's what stands out. Okay,
sure. What about Yuqiao?
I think first of all, I still wanted to stay in Singapore when I was looking for a master. And then at that time, when I'm comparing to some local universities as well, I think ESSEC gives a lot of more international exposure. And also it's a marketing. The MMD is a kind of the track combines digital plus luxury that I think no any local universities for the masters can provide as well. So that's my first intention to join.
Okay, that's sure. Actually, I was quite interested in Yuqiao's answer because, we all actually try to increase our visibility in the local market because, we are very new to the scene. So it takes a while. So it's good to know how she get to know about the program. So I suppose the positioning works. Okay, just to help our listener to understand a bit more about the program, because Filippo almost kind of touched on it, the different elements of the program. maybe one way to go about doing this is tell me, what do you think is the best part of the program that you think you truly enjoy or truly benefit from? And then maybe spend some time talking about it so that, the audience know what's about, and why is it that you like it, for example. Yeah.
Should I go?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
For me, it was the design thinking week.
Oh,
far.
okay, sure.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. It's something I still talk a lot when I have interviews for job applications, because you had the opportunity to start with just a problem. You get like a blank statement, and from there you have like 1 week to get a solution, and it involves marketing, it involves technology, it involves product thinking. For us, for example, the question was to imagine you were like a product manager at Facebook and you needed to find a way to engage with learners. So to engage with kids and like youngsters to provide some educational services. And we lost Prof. Tag? Okay, still there. And then we had the opportunity to work with mentors that come from consulting backgrounds. Our mentor specifically was from an entrepreneurship background. So she started like herself a few companies. And that was amazing because you could work with your team and then get back to her. She would give you some feedback. And then at the end, you presented there in front of the jury where we also like discussed the possible edge cases and different scenarios to cover all the instances. And besides that, there is the digital marketing challenge. There are different companies, and also in there you get a real problem that a company is facing. And thanks to Prof. Tak, we have really amazing brands in there. We had Decathlon, we had big fashion houses joining the challenge. And so how it works is that an employee from one of those companies come to you and they have a real problem they need to solve. And what's best about that is that most of the times when you're doing project for schools, you don't have constraints, right? You can be really creative. You don't you don't really need to think about all the limits. And it was a lot of learning, having an idea and proposing it to the team of the company, and they would get back and say, guys, look, this is not feasible.
Yeah. Hey, Filippo. Yeah. Filippo, I know there's a confidential clause that you sign when you put DMC, but I think it's all right to roughly tell the audience what industry were you working on in the DMC and roughly what kind of problems you're solving. Otherwise, it sounds really, really bland. Yeah.
It was consumer goods.
Okay.
It was consumer goods, and they were looking for a way to first create and then engage with a community on a recurring basis.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was super interesting because nowadays, also like the work I'm doing, I see many companies we consult for, they're trying to build a communities themselves. So that was really interesting to work on.
Yeah, okay. So I maybe Jin-Lin or Yuqiao can touch more on DMC, but sorry that I was cut off for a while, but I think, I don't know whether you cover it in Design Thinking Week. I think what we try to do is also invite a lot of speakers, right? From the industry to talk about what they do and then to share the experience. I thought that's a very good part of it in the sense that it gets you started. Think about design thinking and think about the things involved, the context in the industry. Yeah, okay. What about Jin-Lin? Jin-Lin, what is I know it's been a few years back.
Yeah.
So what is the most memorable part of the program and what do you like most and why? Yeah.
I think what I like most about this program is actually I can break it down into 3 parts, but basically it's to do with networking opportunities, the exposure that we get to different companies and working with them, or just to companies coming to school for career fairs. So I just wanted to mention career fairs is first of all. Second of all, projects with companies that we've gotten to work on in some of our classes. And third, I wanted to touch on study trip, in which we also visited some companies. So for the career fair, actually we had during my year 2 career fairs, one in the first term, one in the second term. And we had a lot of companies come in and just, present what sort of roles they were recruiting for, because all of us students are looking for internships during this time. And I actually managed to find my internship through these career fairs because LVMH was a partner of ESSEC at the time. So I'm sure till now. So they came the first term, I talked to them. Second term, when we actually had to apply for the internships, I talked to them again, and they remembered me from the first time that I talked to them, actually. And that really helped me to, establish that connection at first, and then to keep following up, and then eventually get my internship. So that was super, super helpful, because having not had too many working experiences before joining the master's, this was really an edge up for me, and that experience led to my current job. So super helpful, the career fair. Second of all, the projects with the different companies. So we, in each of our classes, so both streams, right, in digital marketing and also luxury marketing, we had the chance to work with companies like JCDecaux for advertising. We worked with Wenken Group, which is a traditional Chinese medicine company in Singapore. And then also with the government of the GovTech, which is Sing Health in Singapore, and that's more healthcare. Then we also had an e-commerce project with Style Mile for our luxury course. So actually, as you can see, it spans across lots of different industries. So the opportunity to really collaborate with companies on these projects was super interesting, because you're not just sitting in a classroom studying the theory, but you're applying what you're learning into these projects with the companies. So that's the second point. And then third one was study trip. So actually my cohort, we went on this study trip in 2019 in March. So we were really lucky to have been able to do that, because the past 2 years, the cohorts have not been able to go on their study trip, which is supposed to be a part of this program, and actually a large part of what attracted me to the program as well. So we went to Hong Kong for this trip, and it was just 1 week of visiting, talking to companies. So some of the companies that we were able to see during this trip and included Richemont. So we went to Cartier, the store in Hong Kong, Chanel, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, Super Union, which is a global brand agency. We also went to Bain & Company, Ipsos, Natixis. So these are just some of the examples of the companies that we went to. And that was a great trip. And so as you can see, many networking opportunities for this program. And ultimately, what really helps students, I think, get an internship or even full-time jobs after the program.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm smiling because I realized that Filippo and Yuqiao actually missed out the business trip opportunity. So they'll be very envious of you. But maybe you guys can share about what we did in lieu of business trip, in lieu of the study trip. In the sense, I thought the business trip was really well done, in the sense that we have students who, through the network form during the business week, they contact some speakers, and they could get jobs in their home country, not in Singapore. I thought that was something valuable. I think I shared Jin-Lin's point about the importance of the career fair. And also we invite speakers into the campus quite frequently. And it's very important for students who have not decided what to do with their career, for example. It gives them an idea, the different career, different company, how is it like working in those companies, and gives the student, most importantly, a chance to talk to the speakers. And we submit a resume, at least they can put a face to the resume. It's not just a random application, for example. So Yuqiao, come to you. What is most memorable for you? Yeah.
I think first of all would be the DMC, because at the time the company that I was allocated is Cartier, and then it's very interesting that the luxury company is also moving towards the digitalization, and we are kind of like doing an end-to-end marketing plan for them, and then it's really helpful for us to step into the real world of working, and then there is a weekly catch-up with the Cartier's supervisor as well, and then it's very meaningful for us to understand what is the business scope of a Cartier, and then how we can do it better, and then how we can make a plan for the initiatives that they are going to do. Then this is a thing that is really helpful for our future as well. And I think the second one is more about intangible assets, because I think there are a lot of networks that ESSEC owning, and then a lot of opportunities for like the DMC, and then the bootcamp, and then the career fair. I think at that time, like all of the job opportunities for the internship or like the full-time opportunities are kind of like we need through some referrals, or like we need through the supervisors that we are working with, so to create more job opportunities for us. I think that's the intangible assets that is very valuable for us.
I think what's interesting about the difference between a business student and, let's say, non-business students, that I found out is business students are more entrepreneurial and they tend to get out the shell more, in the sense that I really like the fact that a lot of MMD students, took the initiative to contact people, to network and get to know. And from the three of you, it goes to show how important it is to network and get to know people. Okay. Let's talk a bit about the fun stuff. I mean, we've been very, very somber throughout all this thing. How is life like for you in Singapore or in MMD? Especially for people considering, is Singapore a very boring place to be, for example, that kind of thing. So let them know what is in store when they're here, and it's not 9 to 5, 7 days a week working. So yeah, feel free to share. How's life in Singapore? Jin-Lin, you have this smile that almost showing that you're reminiscing about something. So do share.
Sure, I can share. I mean, Singapore itself is not a very big place, but it is a great place to travel to other places. So, I mean, of course, when you come here as I did as a student, and you're seeing Singapore for the first time, of course, you're gonna spend some time exploring Singapore, and then just first time in Southeast Asia or even Asia for some students. They take this opportunity to really travel to other places around Singapore. It's super easy, and at least before COVID, it was super easy and sometimes quite affordable as well to just go to neighboring countries. And so I think that was definitely the highlight of most of the students actually who came and studied here, not just our program, but any programs at ESSEC Asia Pacific. So traveling part, and also actually it's quite international. I find that the school is quite international. We have people coming from all over the place, so you get to really meet just a lot of different people from different backgrounds. And then apart from studying, weekends usually travels or going out with friends. Then of course the school organizes a few activities as well, whether it be sporting activities or cultural events. So as students, you're able to participate in all of the above.
Yeah, in fact, Tanya, which is our campus activity manager, usually have great things to say about MMD. They'll say, oh, there's lots of initiative, lots of club, lots of activity started by MMD. And he's really all praises for students from MMD. What about Yuqiao and Filippo? How's life in Singapore?
For me, it was pretty unfortunate because when I was there, it was full COVID. So I couldn't really travel.
Okay.
But Singapore has a lot to offer as a city. There are still activities you can do within Singapore.
Okay.
And just hanging out, in the campus was really good. Everyone is super friendly, both from MMD, but also like other courses, other masters. Everyone is super friendly. They're willing to have a quick chat. And just, be around in campus was pretty good.
Yeah.
Then a lot of activities organized. We went hiking, kayaking once. So yeah, it was fun with COVID, but.
Okay.
What about you, Tel?
I think because I have been in Singapore for quite a long time.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Yeah.
I think Singapore is a quite safe place to live here, and then it's really it's all opening up, and then as a financial center you can have more internships and then to be secured. And then secondly, I think for life that I remember that because we are as a non-European students, we are learning to speak a little bit French, and then a lot of European students, they are learning to speak some Mandarin. I think that's kind of a very interesting for the cultural exchange, because it's more we get to know the workplace, the language that we are going to use, and also how we exchange our culture between the different students. I think that's the memorable part as well.
Okay. Yeah, in case, people get this misunderstanding. Yes, Singapore is a good place to travel, but you do have to be around during class. And usually December, there's a term break. I think that's when students travel. So just to clarify things. Okay. Let's say from a let's say return on investment point of view, and not making it so technical. Maybe let's talk about what do you think. How does MMD, for example, add value to your career life, for example? What's your take on it? I mean, is there any things that you learn or experience in MMD that really help you in the career right now? You can relate to what you're doing now, for example. Yeah. Anyone? I mean, there's.
I can go.
Yes,
go.
please do. Yeah.
I think there are two main things. The first one is the connections and the relationships you can build
Mm-hmm.
with both fellow students, but also, as you were mentioning, Prof. Tak, with the guests you invite. The level there is pretty high. I'm still in touch with a few of them, actually. And it's surprising how willing people they are to help. So we had this speaker is a growth marketing professional, and I'm still in touch with him. Sometimes I have like some matters in terms of that, and just I just call him and I get some feedback on what I'm doing. And the second thing is definitely the alumni network. If I look at the 2 jobs I had after this program, they were both obtained thanks to being part of the ESSEC alumni network. Even the job I'm doing now, both the 2 founders are from ESSEC, and that makes your life much easier when doing the interview.
Perfect. Someone else?
I think I'll just briefly talk about what I did. I think performance marketing, there are a lot of courses that I have taken in MMD really helps, such as like marketing analytics, inbound marketing, and also the digital marketing. I think these 3 courses provide us a framework on how we approach the business questions or problems that we are dealing with. And I think that's more about like SEO, and then we will have like the basic knowledge. Then we can have like, once we go to the workplace, we know what the manager are talking about, and then how we can value add it to this. And there is a mini project that I did in Shopee that is really leveraging on the marketing analytics courses that we have taken to segment all the users from the RFM segmentation, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can add to that. So I would
Yeah,
agree
sure.
that a lot of the courses that we took during this program, I was able to apply them to my internship and then my work. So in particular, I would say for my internship, my role was actually digital marketing and e-commerce for a regional role here in Singapore. But I would say what was super helpful were some of the things we learned in digital marketing strategy class, some of the frameworks, some of the theory, social media marketing, and also marketing analytics, because marketing is not just strategy, but also looking at data, which of course I work in data now. And so that was definitely helpful for me in leading up to my internship, and also now giving me the opportunity to evolve even beyond marketing to a non-marketing role. It gives you different options as well once you start working.
Thank you. Yeah, I think let's touch on something about the thing about MMD is and I share with the fact that we have pretty good ranking in QS ranking for the program, and a big part of it has to do how well placed is a student. Which means that a lot of our students that graduate from the MMD program are very well placed. They work in great companies, getting good jobs, either in Singapore or in France or in China, because most of the students are either French or Chinese. So I think what would be interesting for the viewers, listeners right now is how's the career search process like? Is it difficult? Does it so how do you actually end up securing the job that you have right now? I think that's something that the listener will be interested to know. Yeah. So anyone to start first?
Yeah, I can go.
Sure.
So as I mentioned, my internship itself was secured through the career fair directly. So this was directly through ESSEC. In terms of my full-time job, so actually as a student in Singapore, after you complete the program, if you're not Singaporean, then you have the option to get a visa that allows you to stay for longer in order to look for a job locally if you so wish. So I was able to do that, get a visa, but actually I found my current job at Sanofi very quickly. I think I was really lucky to have done so. But I would say definitely my role, my internship experience, and also the fact that I had done a program in digital marketing. So not just marketing, but digital marketing specifically. And the company was looking for someone with digital background, and that really, really helped me. So I think the fact that it's digital marketing, it helps a lot nowadays. A lot of industries, a lot of companies are looking for people with digital skills. So I think that's most important. Yeah, so I think the search process for me has been quite straightforward. And even if you don't find it straight away, you've got that visa to let you stay for 1 year, up to 1 year if you really need the time to search. And you have, in my opinion, a decent amount of options in Singapore.
Thank you. Maybe Filippo, because Yuqiao is in the internship stage. So Filippo, what about the job search like? Yeah.
I think ESSEC has built the right mix of theory, practice, and networking that makes your life pretty easy when looking for a job. You have the theory, you know how to respond to technical questions, but you're also comfortable presenting in public, asking questions on the go. Something that you will notice if you join the program is that you will give a lot of presentations, a lot, and the professors will confront you, right? So if something doesn't make sense, they will ask you, and there will be like, not a debate, but you will be asked to prove your points, which is something really, really useful in the workplace. And it's something that also employers are looking for. And finally, you also get the networking. So if you cannot find a job through, maybe your CV is not the best one, you didn't go to a great, bachelor or something like that, you still have the networking. So you have the chance to meet with people and introduce yourself and show how much you're worth, how much value you can provide. So I think you will have no problem finding a job after the master.
Yuqiao, maybe you can share a bit about your experience so far. Yeah.
I think when I secured an internship, I think I started to find internship in this year, February. And then it's quite quick for the employers or to turn me into the interview stage and then the offer stage. I think I got, I think because Shopee has a very quick response. So I think it took me like just 4 weeks for the entire recruitment process. And at the same time, I also received I think around 5 offers from different companies as well. So I think at the end of the March, I already secured my internship already. So it around like 1 month, just like Jin-Lin for the full-timers as well. Yeah, so it's pretty quick. And then I think the name of the ESSEC and also the networks also help you a lot when finding the internship.
Yeah, thank you. Do you know that our students is quite hot in demand, at least in terms of internship? Every time where we have placed everyone in internship, the career services will come to me and say, Prof, a lot of people keep asking me whether we have extra MMD student, which I say we don't have. So it's a good sign. So I suppose digital marketing, luxury marketing put us in a good positioning for the job market. Let me ask you a question. I think, do I dare ask? Okay. So let's ask about any regrets. Is there any things that you would change of MND? Any regret for you to join MND? So I think some students, when I suppose, want to listen to that so that they make a more informed decision, I suppose. Yeah. Anyone? Filippo seems to be in deep thoughts. So share what's going through your mind.
It's a tough one. For sure, I would have loved to be able to travel.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
In terms of regrets, I don't see many.
Okay, that's good. Jin-Lin?
No regrets for me. I think it was the right choice for me to choose this master's. And I was lucky enough to have been able to travel as well and do the study trip. Everything that I was expecting from the program and more is, I think personally, it really helped me kickstart my career from
Sure.
someone with not so much experience to how I've been working for a while. So super helpful, and I think it was the right decision.
Sure. Yuqiao, any?
I think, yeah, it's just the same as Filippo. We don't have a study trip, but like Intern, we have a business week.
Yeah.
That's really helpful for our networking as well. So it's okay.
Okay, just to give a listener a bit of background. So we're hit by the COVID. So all of a sudden I have to tell students we can't travel overseas anymore, simply because it's so difficult. Because anything can go wrong when they travel. So I know it wasn't the most popular decision, but I'm quite happy in the sense that this student actually organized a local Singapore 1 week conference. And so we converted the traveling budget into budget for organizing the conference. So which means that we have enough budget to hold in a 5-star, really nice lobby. And we invited a lot of top managers, directors, for example, to come give a talk, for example. So I would like to tell the student, yes, I know it is a great shame we don't get to travel, but your level of exposure to the speakers is way more, because you must understand it's a study trip, and Jin-Lin can attest to it. Involve a lot of traveling, time are wasted traveling from point A to point B. So when you do it in a local conference, the speakers just have to come. We just have to be in room, for example. So that really increases the kind of exposure that we have, for example. Yeah. So I'm going to move into question now. So feel free to post me a question. There's a couple that's there. I just want to invite you, if you anytime you drop by campus, look for me. We can have coffee. And it's usually feedback by you from alumni that give me an idea of whether are we doing things right, are we doing things wrong, what do we have to change, for example. It's always very useful for information for me as a program director. Okay, I think let's ask one question, and this is an interesting question that I think I can pose to everyone. The question is that, what would be the most important advice for new students? So if I understand the question correctly, it would be like, I suppose I read it as what can you do as a new student to do well in the program, I suppose. Yeah, or do well after the program.
I think I have an answer for that.
Sure.
For me, the most important thing would be, at ESSEC, you will find yourself surrounded by really ambitious and smart people. So just take advantage of that. In Singapore, there are like a lot of events, a lot of challenges, a lot of boot camps that you can participate in. And I remember I was part of both the entrepreneurship and the marketing club. And with some of the members who are just like getting into these challenges, and there is like a lot to learn there, because also there you have like a problem from a real company, you get feedback from mentors. Actually, a previous student found a job at L'Oreal thanks to one of these challenges. So definitely look for those things, maybe travel a bit less to Thailand and get to work to those challenges.
All right. What about Jin-Lin and Yuqiao? What is your advice for new students?
So I think maybe two things. First of all, I do agree with Filippo. So we didn't just travel, just to be clear, because 1 year is actually not a very long time that you have when you're actually, 9 months specifically, to do your classes. So like during that amount of time, we were actually all super busy as well. Say yes to opportunities, say yes to, doing things within the classes, outside of your classes, any opportunities that you can seize to upskill yourself, to network with people, anything like that. That just be open to that and be open to do more than you usually would to try to get the most out of this program. And then I guess second of all, more on the personal note is when you apply for this program, when you enter this program, have an idea of what you wish to get out of this program. So you can sort of have a goal in mind and then work towards that goal during these 2 terms. Ask the right questions, get the right connections that you need in order to get to your goal.
I think my advice is quite simple. just to enjoy maybe the last year that you will be the student, then I think that's the year that you can experience a lot and then to learn a lot from your peers and then from your professors as well. So just to enjoy and then explore yourself, and then don't limit yourself, and then don't set boundaries for yourself.
Thank you. I like the comments of not setting boundary. I think kind of in line with Filippo comments in the sense that the nice things about the campus is that it's a small campus, so you get to mix around with people from different culture background, different from nationality, for example. But you are mixing out with very smart people. So I always like to tell students in the sense that, as a school, there's no way we can guarantee you good jobs or that you get a good job, etc. It depends a lot on yourself. But what we try our best is actually to create opportunities for you to network, to apply for jobs, etc. So yeah, it is very competitive. So in a way, you have to be hungry and you have to be, take the proactive step. I think usually students that are more proactive tend to do a lot better in the program. There's a question about, number of students in class, but maybe I find it more meaningful to answer about how is the program run in ESSEC. So basically, there's really different formats that depends on the professor teaching it. There's case studies, there's mostly projects where you implement what you learn, for example. There's some market study, I understand. I think the retailing costs, for example, bring it to retail stores and look at retail outlets, for example. So basically the philosophy is that there's a lot of experiential learning in the sense that get the student not just learn theory, but apply them and experience what's happening out there. That's why there's so much exposure to industry people, for example. In terms of class size, we try our best to keep it small, but then the program's really growing very crazily in the sense that, I have a hard time saying no to very stellar students. And this year, the program is a bit bigger. That's because we are expecting students to drop out because of the COVID situation, but it didn't happen. So because of that, we have to accept the student that we gave promise to. So they said the class size is about 60. So, but having said that, I just came from Harvard on a teaching workshop. Harvard do very well teaching class of 80 students. So that's the time I said, wow, I should be able to teach a class of 60 well. So I think that's something we do. We try not to compromise on the teaching experience. There's also a question here that asks about, what about people who have work experience, right? Is this program something that will advance a career? I can throw the question to the three guests here today, but from my personal take, I know I can name students who have good working experience. And they did really well after the program in the sense that, for example, they get jobs they wouldn't get. They get better jobs in better company, for example. That's something I know for sure. I don't want to name names now, but there are people who, for example, there's one who is a full-time accountant and they have a great career switch to now become a marketing manager. And she really loved the change, for example. So I think what is different about a student, you must know, to be fair, you must understand that most of the students have less than 2 years working experience. And all of them is very young. The average age of a student is 23 years old. But so if you do have more work experience, you're a bit more senior, you have to be comfortable with mixing around with younger students who might not have as much working experience for you. But from my experience, people who work experience do pretty well after they get out of the program, right? Okay. So what do you think, Jin-Lin, Filippo, Yuqiao? Would this program work for someone with more working experience?
Yep. So maybe I can talk more on this one. So agreed with Prof Tech in saying that most students actually have, the average is like, let's say 2 years or less of experience. And this is because this program is actually suitable for anyone who's not from a marketing background as well. So you don't have to have studied business or marketing before in order to do this program. And so inevitably, some of the courses are going to start off with the foundational pieces of marketing. So if someone has experience, so I guess 2 scenarios. First of all, if someone has marketing experience already, then these courses are not going to be anything new to you. Depends on how much experience you have. It may not be as useful to you as someone like as someone who doesn't have any marketing background. But what's going to be useful for you is the experiences on top of the classes, the opportunities to work with companies, the networking opportunities. Now, for someone who has experience, but it's not in marketing, then I think this program can still be useful. So if someone doesn't have the foundational pieces of marketing, then these courses can definitely still be applicable.
Yep. Okay. I just want to share that it's a master level program. So although Jin-Lin says that you don't have marketing background, we try to get you up to speed to know about marketing program. But it means that things tend to move a lot faster, simply because it's a master level program. We can't really delve on basics so much. So that's why I think it's also something to tell the student in the sense that how much you get out of the program sometimes also depends a lot on how much you put into the program. So if you use this chance to learn more about digital marketing, learn more about luxury marketing, for example, it definitely will benefit you in the program. But the program is designed in such a way that when it's basic, knowledge on business is not a requirement. So we're trying to reach out to a more broader base of students. Okay. Yuqiao, am I cutting you out? Any things to say? Would someone with work experience benefit from this program?
I think there are one classmate is from Korea, and I think she has done pretty well like after finding a job, and I think she landed to Samsung to be a market manager. I think so. I think this is really helpful as well, and then I think she also she's very approachable, and then we make friends, and then we hang out together, and then she's able to provide some advices for the younger students as well. So I think it's really there's no any it's quite intimate, our relationship.
Oh, thank you. The interesting thing about being an ICAD director is that when you found a job, your salary actually I get to see. So I got to see the Korean classmate, and it's not a starting level pay. It's actually quite a very decent salary, and so it goes to show that she did really well after the program. Okay, we're kind of running out of time, and I'll just answer these two questions as posted, and it's kind of related. I think the first question is how to stand out when applying for the program, and the other question is that what am I looking for in admission process? I'm going to share, and three of you will know the secret now. Okay. Actually, as me as academic directors, my philosophy for choosing students is very simple. I have just one rule in the sense that, in my opinion, will this student do well after he or she gone through the program? And what will help me make out this decision is, does this person have interest in a marketing career, for example? And I try to size up someone's interest by, for example, the things the person do, right? Simple things like if you're not, for example, if you're from an engineering background, but there are people from engineering background who say, oh, I'm starting on my own business. I do marketing case study competition, etc. I go internship, and I found it's kind of indication that yes, your desire is there, and you do have the interest there. And especially, I like the fact that people tell me, oh, I spoke to people in the marketing industry. I know what the job is like, and I think this is a career for me. I think that's a very important part for me in the sense that I wouldn't want. And I've encountered students who come to the program and tell me, oh, I realize this is really something I don't want. So, it's 1 year of your life, and it's important. It's important 1 year. So that's why I want to make sure that when I set up student, he or she knows what she wants, and I'm helping her or him to get what she wants, for example. So in the sense that I have rejected quite a few students which have perfect CV, but I just know that this person, is not suitable for a marketing career, for example. So I think that's something the basic things you want to think about when you apply for a program. It's kind of in line with my advice when I give the student also when you come to job interview. I will tell them that I think the best strategy when you go for a job interview is to be yourself. Because if you fake yourself and you get the job, ultimately you realize that that's not the job for you. You'll be very miserable in the job. So it's the same with the way I evaluate the applications. Yeah. Okay. So now you know. So now you know how I choose student. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I mean, a bit about my background. I work in Unilever. I've been marketing all my life since my undergraduate days. I'm a marketing major, and ever since then I've been in marketing. So that kind of helps me to know what to look out for, in the sense that I also look for qualities which I think will do well in the marketing career. And also I do speak to industry people. I say, oh, what are you looking for? What's the skill set, that kind of thing. So that's something to help me make decision. Okay, I hope that's clear. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So which means that don't get someone to write your motivation letter, for example. You know, that doesn't help. It should come from you personally. You know, let me know the true you, so that there's a right fit for you and this program. There's this question: will television production program background be able to help themselves? Okay. If I understand, the question is that I'm someone who comes from a television production background, and if I pursue a marketing degree, would that help? Yes, help in the sense that what kind of career do you want to go into? Right. If you think that, okay, I no longer want to be always in television program production, I want to take a more marketing role, definitely this program will help. And I think depending on the kind of career you go into, sometimes having some background in content production, in this case, television production, for example, does help, right? In the sense that, every time as a marketing manager, you need to decide about media channels, how to plan your media schedule, for example. I think all this will put you in a good state if you look for the right company, right? So I think yes, the short answer is yes. If you're thinking of moving a marketing career, yes, to sign up for this program. All right. So that's it. So I think I'll stop here, and thank you so much for giving me almost an hour of your attention, and thank you so much for the three of you, Jin-Lin, Filippo, Yuqiao. It's always a pleasure seeing you again. So do drop by. Jin-Lin, by the way, the background of Jin-Lin is actually how our campus looks like. Yeah, that's the front of our campus. So do drop by this campus, and we can have a coffee and chat, and then let me know how you're doing, or what's your thoughts about how you can move the program forward. Okay. Otherwise, have a great evening or morning, depending where you are. So yeah, hope to see you in campus soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.